Hello, hello. How are we? Very good. Thank you very much. And welcome to this feast of football on this Anzac evening here at the Olympic Village. We're just short of the halfway mark of the NPL season. It's round 11, it's Anzac Day, and the contenders have been sorted from the pretenders. And these two teams, Heidelberg United and Avondale, are certainly among the former. Avondale have swept all before them, losing just once and being clear on top of the ladder from the get-go, whilst Heidelberg United, after a slow start, have grown more formidable by the week, winning their last 5 in a row, scoring 17 and conceding just 3 in the process. If they can win here tonight, they'll confirm their own title credentials whilst raising questions about Avondale's. Is that enough? Okay. Yeah. So the stream really starts when the kickoff starts. Yeah. But they can hear. We're just short of the halfway mark of the Anzac Day, and the contenders have already been sorted from the pretenders, and these two teams, the former. Avondale have swept all before them, losing just once and being clear on top of the ladder side, Heidelberg United, have grown more formidable. Everyone is upstanding, and we're going to have so the formalities are out of the way, and now it's time for the football. This is one of 4 games tonight in the NPL, and this is by far the pick of them. Avondale in their purple and Heidelberg United in their yellow and black. So no confusing these two teams. Let's quickly go through the lineups before we get underway. Heidelberg United, Souza in goal, Ben Collins, Ali Jamal at the back, Anthony Lysiotis in midfield. Fletcher Fulton has been a revelation at fullback this season. Mohamed Aidara in midfield. Sebit Nagor gets a start tonight up top alongside Bull Duach. Ryan Lethlean has been a tower of strength in the middle of the defence. Max Basetto down the flank, and Asahi Yokokawa, one of the stars of the competition. He will start just in behind. Whilst for Avondale, a few big outs. No Stefan Zinni, no George Ott, no Blake Carpenter, and no Matthew Reid, but it's still a very formidable lineup. Daniel Edwards, Manny Aguek up top, Kerr in midfield alongside Yite Towns, Thomas Manos at the back, Stefan Valentini, Christian Podesky, Ethan Wellsmore, Jackson Courtney Perkins, Luca Tavir in midfield, and Kaliu Kamara. So it is first versus third, 5 points between them on the table. Heidelberg looking to go clear in second, at least until Dandenong Thunder play on Monday night. But given that Dandenong Thunder are the only team to have beaten Avondale so far this season, if Heidelberg can do it, that would really send a shot around the competition and maybe raise some doubts about Avondale, who have been outstanding, except in that one game against Dandenong Thunder. And this is certainly their toughest test since then. How will they measure up here at the Village, where the rain is teeming down? We're under the canopy here on the broadcast side, the eastern side of the ground, which is well populated, people coming in, getting out of the rain. There's a great crowd here. It was hard to get a park coming in. All is in readiness for a great night of football here at a great old venue between two great clubs, Heidelberg, an old stager of Victorian football, Avondale more recent, at least in their current guise. But they are two teams who are used to being up near the top of the ladder, fighting for championships, and that's certainly what they're doing this season. They may well be fighting on the last day of the season, but we've still got a ways to go. And it's an early intercept here for Heidelberg. I think it might be Bassetto who's gone down there, former Western United player. And he wins an early free kick. They like these. Heidelberg, they scored from an early free kick last time here at home. A couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in fact, against Green Gully. This one's out on the flank though. That free kick that they scored from was pretty much in front. Burgers going towards the clubroom's end or the right of your screen in this first half. Avondale attacking the Murray Road end or the left of your screen. We've just ticked over 60 seconds. Heidelberg with an early free kick. And it hits the deck. Ali Jamal is there. Tries to recycle play. They're still got a chance here. Heidelberg, as there's claims of a penalty. And now a flashing shot goes wide. And some oohs and ahs in the crowd here at the Village. It was Mohammed Aidara, in fact, who got very close there. And Avondale breathe a sigh of relief. It's out for a goal kick to Thomas Manos. Mightn't be able to see it in the vision, but very steady rain here now at the Village. We've had that run of unseasonably warm weather, but that seems to have come to an abrupt end this afternoon. The two teams probably haven't played in conditions like this too much this season, as Avondale look to play out from the back. Luca Tavir getting busy in midfield. Chipping it forward. Here's Trolchesky, the danger man, lifting it over the top. Trying to get in behind here, Avondale. It's Kerr now down the flank. Scored in the Doherty Cup last weekend. We go all the way back to Kamara. And now Edwards. Over to Tavir. Lovely interplay. And now a flying shot from Valentini. The former Oakley Cannon had a sighter. And he wasn't too far away. He also scored recently. In fact, in their last league game, which was 2 weeks ago. Of course, last weekend was the Doherty Cup. But Avondale, their last game was a 4-0 win against Altona Magic. And Valentini was on the score sheet there. He wasn't too far from adding his name in this one as Manos nearly gets in a pickle, almost chased down. It was old Juach who put the Avondale custodian under pressure and he kept his cool. And Avondale are keeping the ball. Here's Kamara, and that's a bit too tall for Valentini. Drawing the Bronx cheers from the Burgers faithful, who as usual here at the Village are right up around me at the back of the stand here. Sure you'll probably hear them in the effects mic during the evening, certainly if the Burgers score. Here's Collins, the skipper tonight for Heidelberg, going route one. Picked up in midfield now by Bassetto. This is promising. It's Yokokawa. The Japanese can't do much here. Trolchesky picks up at the base of midfield. Tavir. It looks like he's playing out wide tonight. Look at Tavir. Normally plays in the middle, but it looks like he's playing down this left flank in front of the grandstand on the broadcast side in the first half. And here's Kerr with those long strides down the far flank. Oh, he's played it nicely inboard towards Courtney Perkins. And that's the first corner of the evening for Avondale. Courtney Perkins, another player who scored recently. He was also on the score sheet against Altona Magic. Five minutes played. Despite the inclement weather, it's been a very energetic start by both teams here as Avondale play it short. Now they whip in the cross. Kamara came up from defence, but he infringed. And Heidelberg will get out of jail. Yaron Souza hasn't had too much to do so far. That's unlikely to continue through the evening, though. Avondale free scorers, as are Heidelberg. And was out of play in any case. It's the other games tonight. Green Gully at home to South Melbourne. Dandy City hosting Port Melbourne. Preston Lions at home to St Albans. And Hume up against Melbourne Knights. Those last two fixtures kicking off a bit later. And then no games at all tomorrow or Sunday. We've got to wait until Monday night when Melbourne Victory host Dandy Thunder. So if you miss here, Heidelberg, they're happy to sit off at the moment. Let Avondale have the ball and they're happy to oblige. They've given it away here though. Besetto. Back to Lethleen. Souza, clad in green this evening. He's had some great moments this season. That wasn't one of them. Wellsmore with the throw. One of a couple of ex-Oakley players in this. The ball here, and that's a pretty rugged challenge. I think it was Yokokawa who's gone down, and the referee's let play go, and then the last man's gone down. It's Valentini who was brought down there, and the referee says play on. And the crowd's getting excited, and Yaron Souza's I think both Souza and the crowd here thought that was a dive from Valentini, and it seems that the referee agreed. Now Manos. Oh, he rode his luck there. Thomas Manos. It's a couple of in this opening 10 minutes. Now Manos. Won't be foreign to him. There's a driving run forward here by Nagore. And he wins a free kick, or wins a corner rather. Heidelberg crowd, that was a barnstorming run there by Nagore. At home against Green Gully. He was a substitute in that game, but he's got the start tonight, and he's won his team a corner here. From to no one in particular. Jamal Ali with the throw. Right in front of us here on the crowd revving him up, knowing those couple of new mistakes will be playing on his mind. Kamara back to Manos, and he gets rid of this one quickly. Collins, who very nearly scored a spectacular header moments ago. Here is Ben Collins again. This is a stress test that Zoran Markovski's men have not really had to deal with so far in this campaign. We're going to find out a fair bit about them over the next 70 minutes or so. Hope you can stay with us on YouTube. Cade Lucas with you. And what a game we've got already. And it's still got plenty to go. Heidelberg, as things stand, going second in the league against the competition's top team. Will no doubt be keen to hit back soon. Here's Kamara. Kerr on the far side. They're pressing up high here. Avondale looking for a quick reply. They've given the ball away, though. Yokokara was sniffing around. Now it's Edwards. Valentini. Nagua couldn't convince the linesman that he didn't get the last touch, so it is an Avondale ball. And it's Kamara galloping forward. Ever present at the back for Avondale. His partner, Aiden Bryce, is missing tonight. That could be one of the reasons why Avondale have looked a bit vulnerable at set pieces without his hulking presence back there. Towns in midfield. Basetto in front of him. Towns kept going on all fours, crawling forward. Yute Towns, the skipper for Avondale, and he's won a free kick right on the halfway line. And they play on quickly here. Kerr. Down the western side of the village. A few hardy souls out there watching in the pouring rain. Most are under cover here on the broadcast side as Kerr goes driving towards the area. Good challenge, though, by the Heidelberg defenders. And so far kept him and Agawek shackled pretty well. Kamara. Edwards. Dropping deep again. Avondale and Heidelberg have dropped off as well. Now there's a long ball forward. Tavir chests it down. Souza stood his ground though, kept his nerve and got the ball. Avondale just signalling that they're happy to go long ball. That mightn't be a bad idea in these conditions. Here's Collins. Nagor lays it on a platter here for Juach. He lays it across. Could this be a second? The defender has felled. I think it was Valentini who went down there. No, it's Courtney Perkins, rather. And it is a free kick here for Avondale. They do look vulnerable at the back. The league leaders, uncharacteristically, both from set pieces and also when Heidelberg get it down the flanks, whether it's Nagor on this near side or Basetto and Yokokawa down the left. They are penetrating down either flanks at the moment, the Burgers. How they would love a second goal. The village would be on cloud nine if Heidelberg lead by 2-0 at half-time. There's still a fair way to go, though, and Avondale on the move here. It's Kerr. He's got Agawek in the middle. He's also got Trycheski. He likes them from here. Blocked by Collins. Kerr. Avondale looking to hit back. Kerr. Straight into the palms of Souza. Probably the best attack Avondale have had, certainly for a while. Lesiotis. Having a great season, Anthony Lesiotis. Scored in his last 2 games, including the last game here against Green Gully. Here's Collins. Driving forward. The whistle was blown while the ball was still in motion. And there's an Avondale player down. I think it might be Yitte Towns. The two captains came together. Towns and Collins. And it's the Avondale skipper who's come off second best. He's getting to his feet now, the Ethiopian. And we're back underway. Here's Lesiotis. Over towards Bassetto. Good challenge there by Courtney Perkins. Got the ball. And he needed to. Otherwise, Bassetto was off and racing. They come again. It's Juach. Bassetto. Trycheski, who's struggled to get into the game so far. Courtney Perkins. Now Towns just hacks it forward. Just gains a bit of distance, a bit of field position for Avondale. Just need to get a foothold in this game. The Avengers, not often you say that about them. This is unfamiliar territory for them, both in terms of where they are in the game, the quality of the opposition, the conditions. As I said earlier, we're going to find out a fair bit about them come the end of this game, which has still got plenty to go. Here's Trycheski trying to take it out of the sky. They're in support as Agawek. Comes back to Towns, trying to thread the pass on Trycheski. Helped it on. Kerr parried away by Souza. On the follow-up, it was Trycheski again. That would have been a fabulous goal. But in any case, it took a Heidelberg touch, and it's an Avondale corner. That's a bit better from the visitors. As we near the half-hour mark. Kerr will take the corner from the far side at the Murray Street end. And he floats it in. Lethlean was up high, though. Big, tall central defender. And now it's Fulton who's racing away, and he was collected. Kerr with what could be called a tactical foul. A rather obvious tactical foul. But it was effective because Fulton was moving at a rate of knots. In any case, it's a free kick for Heidelberg, so it's a tactical foul that ends up... Yeah. Lethlean sees it out of play. So it doesn't end up being much of an advantage to Heidelberg anyway. And it's Kerr who started it all. He'll have the throw. No, he won't. He gives it to Fulton, the man he brought down. Round and round we go. They are a fair way away over on the far side in front of the player benches. We're right up the back of the stand here. And, of course, there's the old running track between us. So you do almost need the binoculars out to find them on that far side. But they're on the near side here, and it's Wellsmore. Easy to pick him out. As Avondale go in search of an equaliser again as we almost cross 30 minutes. Here's Trycheski, the danger man, trying to thread a ball through. Lethlean having none of it. Knocks it clear. Courtney Perkins. Edwards. Agawek dropping deep. Struggled to get into the game, as have a few of the Avondale attackers. As I say that, Agawek lost his footing and went slip and sliding. Here's Towns, though. Driving through midfield, the skipper, Towns. Good run. They're on the front foot here. It's Kerr. Right across the face of goal. Valentini following up. But that was always a speculative effort from Stefan Valentini. And it drew the Bronx cheers from the Heidelberg faithful. The Heidelberg Ultras, they're having the time of their lives here tonight. It's gone about as well as Heidelberg could have expected so far. Still 15 minutes of this first half to go, though. Souza straight down the middle. Courtney Perkins up high, helped on by Kamara, who's come well up the field, the central defender. They could be caught out here, Avondale. If Heidelberg can get out, they can't. Yokokawa can't control it, and it's out of play. Trycheski. 3 Heidelberg defenders around him. Kamara. That was a risky ball. He got a toe to it. Then Nagore crashes in. And a belated free kick, which the home crowd are not impressed with. Kamara. Valentini down the flank, trying to wriggle his way past Jamal Ali. He can't do so, and instead Ali turns defence into attack. Crowd enjoyed that, and he sets away Boljuach, lays it across. Oh, should have been 2-0. Yokokawa rattled the crossbar. Oh, the roof nearly came off the village then. That looked 2-0 for all money, but Asahi Yokokawa, of all players, probably nobody in the Heidelberg team, not even Juach himself, who you would have wanted to be on the end of a chance like that. But he put it straight into the crossbar. And Avondale can thank their lucky stars. They are not 2-0 down. Here's Tavir with a nice turn in midfield. He's got some room to move. And he slides it down the channel for Kerr. Kerr comes inboard. He might get a shot off here. Agawek, they get in a tangle, those two. Now it's Tavir again. Back further still. Now out to Wellsmore. Trycheski. Oh, he's just bullied off the ball by Nagore. Bigger and stronger, and just shoved him out of the road. And the referee lets that tangle between Juach and Wellsmore go. No free kick despite the pleas of the home crowd here. It's as loud and as boisterous as I've ever heard it here at the village. And that's not just because of the rain coming down on the roof. It's a big crowd here, and they are very excited at what they're seeing. But they know the job is nowhere near done. As Avondale come forward. Agawek, lovely back heel on towards Wellsmore. Just took a touch too many. And Ali picked his pocket. And then he gives it away to Agawek. Agawek driving forward. Thought about having a shot. Sent it out to Kerr instead. He's been one of Avondale's best. Courtney Perkins has drifted forward. He shoots. And Yaron Souza didn't even bother moving. It's 0-0 in the game between Green Gully and South Melbourne. We'll try and get some other scores for you when we can. That game, like this one, will be heading towards half-time. A couple of games starting in about 20 minutes or so. Souza plays it to Idara, who's dropped deep. And now Lesiotis. And he spreads it out wide to Basetto. They're on the move here, Heidelberg. Avondale backpedaling. Basetto Now Sebit Nagor. Now Golchowach! Oh, how about that? It was Jamal Ali, in fact, who came in out of nowhere and rifled that one into the back of the net to make it 2-0. That's his 5th goal of the season, and he is a left back. What a player he is, Jamal Ali. And the crowd here at the Village are serenading him now, and well they should. That was a brilliant finish. The ball was loose on the near side, and Jamal Ali's eyes lit up, and he leathered that one into the back of the net. And Avondale is staring up a very steep hill now. It's Heidelberg United 2, Avondale 0. The Avengers have got to come down from 2 goals down. Dandy City and Port Melbourne Sharks. It's a 1-goal lead to Dandy City there. 0-0 between Green Gully and South. And I mentioned earlier that it was 0-0 between Oakley and Altona Magic. I don't know why, because it was actually a 2-1 win to Oakley. So Heidelberg maybe won't go clear second if they win this game, which right at the moment they very much look like doing. Must have been the score sheet I was looking at earlier today when doing research, and I thought it was a 0-0, but apologies to the Oakley Cannons. It was a win for them, 2-1 over Altona Magic. Can Avondale make it the same scoreline here and get themselves back into this game? Not with free kicks like that, they won't. Idara with the turn, and he's lost the ball. This could be costly. Kerr, back flip to Trajeski. It was always bending away. They can't rest on their laurels here, Heidelberg. It's been a magnificent first half from them, but Avondale, more so than any other team, carry threats everywhere. And even though they are missing a few players, they still will have plenty of quality they can call on the bench too. Nagor with an interesting trap with the shoulder. Down towards Idara, who's just lost a wrestle there with Towns. And eventually it's a free kick to Heidelberg. Collins picks himself up a bit gingerly. Yokokawa on the turn. He's got Tavir hanging off him, but he gets it out wide to Bassetto. The crowd get excited again as Bassetto drives into the area. Courtney Perkins with him. And Avondale breathe easy. That's out for a goal kick. Last thing they can afford is to ship a third before half time. Still got just over 5 minutes of normal time to go. Zoran Markovsky will be preparing a very different team talk to what he usually does. His team are in uncharted waters. And if this result does stay the same and they do lose a second game to one of the other real contenders, it could suddenly raise real questions about the makeup of this Avondale team, who've looked imperious for much of the season. But on the occasions they've come up against one of the teams chasing them, they've slipped up. And At least they have so far in this game, but there's time for them to turn it around, and they might be starting on that here as Valentini works his way down the flank. That's a good ball in. Comes out to Kerr. Kerr! Tried to caress it into the top corner. He hit it nicely, but it was always asking a bit much from there. Yes, they did beat Oakley in the opening round, which was an impressive win. But the other teams vying for second, Dandy Thunder, they lost to them in a very tight game, but it was a loss. And here, so far, they're losing to Heidelberg. And you wouldn't say it's a tight loss the way things have gone so far. Could yet be a pretty chastening defeat if Heidelberg go on with it. We're in the dying embers of the first half here. The rain has not stopped for a single second. Here's Edwards. Sends it all the way back to Manos. Oh, Nagore was closing in. And now a long clearance. And there's danger at the other end. Tavia. Game very stretched here now. It's Tavia. He's got the goal scorer, Ali, right with him as the Burgers get back in numbers. Kerr on towards Agawek. Back out to Tavia. Plenty of yellow shirts back in the box now. Kerr, Tavir again. Can they prize their way through? All the ball ricochets towards the side netting. Yaron Souza was all over it. But it does go out for a corner for Avondale. They've looked pretty shaky defending corners so far tonight, the Avengers. How about taking them themselves? It's Tavia. Low, flat clearance. Balloons straight up in the air. Kamara's there. He can't trap it. And now they might be exposed, Avondale. Heidelberg looking to go on the break. Edwards with a last-ditch challenge. Did well. Won the ball back. And now they've got an opportunity. Avondale, it's Kerr. Kerr. The defence scrambled. Kerr. Still he goes. Right across the face of goal. Oh, end-to-end stuff here at the Village. Heidelberg thought they were out for a moment as Kamara came forward and lost the ball, but then a terrific last-ditch challenge by Edwards suddenly turned it into a chance for the Avengers, which Kerr very nearly took. About 90 seconds of the half to go. Haven't been too many stoppages in general play, so wouldn't have thought there'd be too much stoppage time at the end of this first 45. We'll soon find out. Yokokawa. Oh, and a good challenge there by Adara, and they're on the move again. The Burgers, it's Adara. He's got Nagore. Nagore's in behind. Can he make it three? You bet he can! Heidelberg are taking Avondale to the cleaners at the Village. What a first half performance. This will reverberate around the NPL. Seven Nagore right on the stroke of half time, knocking in a third. It's Heidelberg 3, Avondale 0, and the Village is rocking. Even in their wildest dreams, the Burgers and their supporters wouldn't have thought the first half against Avondale would go like this. 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. The Burgers fans will be asking for another 45 minutes worth. They won't want half time. And you wouldn't bet against them adding a fourth goal here in the 2 minutes we've got to play. Here come the Avengers. But that's a hopeful ball straight into the path of Souza. Zoran Markovski's team talk just got a lot more important than it already was. Can they rescue something here, or is it a damage limitation exercise? Even if they do manage to perform a miracle, it's been a damaging first half, whatever the final outcome is. Every other team in the competition will be sitting up paying attention to this halftime scoreline. They have got some players missing. Bryce being absent at the back has been a huge loss. There's still heaps of quality out there. And they're coming forward here. It's Kerr. In fact, it was Agawek rather, who went down. No claims of a penalty. There is a corner, though, for Avondale, in what could be the final kick of a famous first half here at the Village. Can the Avengers get themselves back into the contest right on the stroke of the break? It's a deep cross. Courtney Perkins was up at the back, almost piggybacking on top of Jamal Ali. And it's out for a goal kick for the Burgers. And that will probably do us for the half here at the Village. There'll be a deafening roar when the whistle goes, even though there's still 45 to go. Heidelberg United fans have been treated to a half they'll never forget here in the first 45 at the Village tonight. And it's not over yet. Here's Boljuarch on the move. Is there time for a fourth? No, there's not. But no one at the Village will care. 3 goals is more than enough as far as Heidelberg United are concerned. Their biggest test of the season up against the top of the table, Avondale. And they have made the Avengers look second rate. An extraordinary first half from Heidelberg. They got off to a great start with Boljuarch after just 8 minutes tapping into an open net. And then things really got exciting after 36 minutes when Jamal Ali scored. by 3-0 after a 45 minutes where they took so far this season. They really took them to town and really raised question marks about Avondale's title credentials whilst very much reaffirming their own. Goals from Boljuach, who now has 8 for the season. Jamal Ali, who has 5 for the season, a defender, 5 for the season. And then Sebet Nagor, who added the third just before half-time, did the damage. Avondale certainly had some opportunities. They actually had more shots. He didn't really have to make a save of note. And they certainly need more end product, do the Avengers. A lot more end product. And a lot better defending as well. They were exposed at set pieces. That's where they conceded one of their goals. And then the Burgers picked them off on the break, but they also finished brilliantly when those opportunities did come. Avondale are missing a few players. They have the strongest squad in the competition, but even the strongest squads do get tested when key players are missing. They've really missed Aidan Bryce at the heart of their defence tonight. That's been a big part of why they've looked so vulnerable at set pieces. The likes of Stefan Zinni and George Ott are also missing, and how Zoran Markowski would love to be able to call upon them at the start of this half. He still has the likes of Joey Katabian and Yusuf Ahmed who are there, so it's not as though he doesn't have any options on the bench. They're still the types of players that most other coaches would love to have in their first 11, let alone on the bench. But this is a test for Avondale now. 3 goals down. Can they still salvage something, anything, even just a bit of pride? Or will this really get out of hand? Will Heidelberg go for the jugular? We'll find out soon. Cade Lucas is my name. With you on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying the coverage on this Anzac evening. The rain has finally abated here. It rained the whole of the first half. It didn't stop. And maybe that affected Avondale too. But it has cleared a little over the half-time break. And we're back underway at the Village. Heidelberg, of course, in the yellow and black, going towards the left of your screen in this second half. Avondale in the blue. Half-time scores elsewhere, where it's 1-0 to Green Gully over South Melbourne. And Dandy City lead Port Melbourne 1-0. Hume City and Melbourne Knights and Preston Lions and St Albans Dynamo have just kicked off. No goals in those ones. And earlier today, Oakley defeated Altona Magic. So no half-time changes that we can see. We'll let you know if there are any players out there who weren't there in the first half. You'd think Avondale, if either side was going to make a change at half-time, it'd be Avondale who'd be doing it. John Anastasiadis must be over the moon with how his team has played. Here's Manos. Edwards, who's been called into play in the centre of defence tonight in the absence of Bryce. And he's actually played pretty well for the most part, but as you can see, he's not the biggest defender. That lack of height has been exposed at times by the Burgers. Lost the ball in midfield here, though. And it looks like one of those changes has been made. It looks like Stefan Zinni is on the field. No, it's Xian Kuba, rather, who's on the field. And it is Kuba now. A bit of interplay here. Kerr is arriving. And now Trojewski, off an impossible angle, has rattled the side netting. Looks like the flag was up in any case. As Xian Kuba is on. He incidentally scored for Avondale the last time they came here. It was on June 28 last season. Oh, they've nearly got in a pickle from the goal kick here, Heidelberg. They do clear it. Yes, it was a 1-1 draw in June last year. Both goals came after 90 minutes. Count Cuba for Avondale. And it was the man who scored tonight, Sebit Nagor, who got the goal for Heidelberg. It was a 1-1 draw on that occasion. Cuba, who was a star a couple of seasons ago for Altona Magic when he first came down from Queensland, then went to South Melbourne, didn't really work out for him there, and now he's at the Avengers, where with their wealth of attacking talent, he's often found himself on the bench as that long ball is doing nothing. Flag up again. Fairly nondescript first 2.5 minutes of the second half here as the rain resumes. It's clear for half time, but now the football's back on and down it comes once again. There's Kamara at the back. We'll send it all the way back to Manos. Courtney Perkins back to Manos. He spoons it high into the night sky here at the Village. With a aerial ping pong in midfield. Left lean at the back to mop up. Wellsmore. Edwards. Now Kerr on this near side. He's probably their best player in the first half. Kerr, the Kenyan. Long legs. Can't make much of this move though. It's Lesiotis mopping up for Heidelberg. And now Jamal Ali. He's a crowd favourite. Scored the second goal. Here's Fletcher Fulton on the near side now. That's a good sliding tackle though by Manny Agawek. And the ball's out of play right in front of us here. The Heidelberg Ultras are on cloud nine. I was speaking to one of them at half time, and he could barely put two words together. He was so excited. And I bet he's not the only one. Still a fair way to go here. Heidelberg will be reminding themselves of that. You don't want to give Avondale a sniff. Here's Juach, one of the goal scorers, down towards Idara. And now Nagor. Danger here for Avondale, but that's a good tackle by Wellsmore. But one again by Lesiotis, and now a nice turn by Bold Juach. Juach, he's already scored one. He lays it across, coming in Yokokawa. Oh, he really should have added a fourth. He's had two gilt-edged opportunities tonight. Asahi Yokokawa. And now it's Kerr on the break for Avondale, looking to get them back into the contest. And Fletcher Fulton saw him all the way and knocks it out for a corner. Yes, Asahi Yokokawa rattled the crossbar in the first half. And then he really should have scored following up just seconds ago. Had he done so, it could be 4 or 5-0 to Heidelberg. As it is, it's a corner for Avondale. And it's a good corner. But Collins was able to head it away. And now a pile driver from Wellsmore. But it was always going high. Nearly cleared the net at the clubroom's end. Did take a Heidelberg touch on the way through though, so it is another corner for the visitors. They go short. Agawek. Kerr. And that's neither a shot nor a cross. And that's just about summed things up so far for Avondale. They have looked right off their tucker. It's in large part down to Heidelberg putting them off as well, but it will have been a first half performance that would have sent some real shivers through the Avondale camp. To try and restore some pride and some confidence in this second half as Edwards, somewhat ungainly, sends that back to Manos, who slews another clearance off the side of his boot. He hasn't had a great night, Thomas Manos. And Heidelberg win the ball back through Fulton. And now Bassetto down the flanks. He's been influential. He sends a cross in here. And Manos was happy to see that go over his goal. He knew it was going going over the byline the whole way. It's a goal kick. They work it out from the back here, Avondale, as the rain comes down probably as hard as it has done all night. Pitch holding up very well here at the Village. It always is one of the better surfaces in the competition. Despite the wet weather, still seen some very good football. A lot of it being played on the ground. It's not just an aerial attack. 3 goals scored by Heidelberg have been beauties. And Avondale, even though they're down on the scoreline, they have certainly played some very attractive football at times themselves. They just don't have much to show for it. Left lean, oh, that's a risky back pass. A bit of a heavy back pass. Souza has to mop it up. And eventually the Burgers will come away with it. Driving through midfield here is Jamal Ali. They turn defence into attack. Nagore down the channel now. It's Nagore, one of the goal scorers. Back to Lesiotis. And it ricochets into the path of Manos. Lesiotis scored from almost an identical spot 3 weeks ago here against Green Gully. And his eyes lit up there. Anthony Lesiotis. He's been a terrific player for Heidelberg this season, but hasn't been a big influence so far tonight. Idara is brought down. That's a very cynical foul by Towns, and he goes into the book. They play on quickly here, Heidelberg. Besetto. Send in the cross. In the end, he doesn't get the chance. Trycheski brings it away. Now Agawek toes it forward. Foot race with left lean. Left lean, the big man, does well. Uses his body to shield Agawek away. And now Fulton. This is end-to-end stuff. If you didn't look at the scoreline, you'd think it was a rip-snorting contest. And it is in many respects, except on the scoreboard. Yusuf Ahmed there. It looks like he's been introduced into the fray as well. So Cuba and Ahmed have been brought on by Zoran Markowski. We haven't quite identified who's been taken off. I think Stefan Valentini is one of them. We'll work out the other one as we go. Trycheski. Risky back pass. Courtney Perkins does well under pressure though. He finds Towns. He's got a bit of room to move, the Ethiopian. He hasn't had much of that tonight. Finds Kerr. If anyone deserves a goal from Avondale, it's him. He's been by far their best player. And now on towards Ahmed. His first touch of the ball. Courtney Perkins. They're pressing up high here, Avondale. Can they get a goal just to lift their spirits, if nothing else? Still plenty of time for them if they're good enough. And here's Trycheski. He's certainly good enough. Not on this occasion, though. Fletcher Fulton with a great challenge. And then a bit of play acting. And it's a corner here for Avondale. It'll be Kerr to take it. Not a great delivery. Left lean. Sends it straight back out, and we'll do it all again. Coming in there was Ahmed. Now a flying shot from Cuba. And Souza had to scramble down to get his hands on it. That would have been some goal. Kane Cuba, he hit that sweep on the half volley all the way along the floor. And Yaron Souza had to get down quickly as he realised that might have been going inside the upright. And in midfield here to Heidelberg, it's Idara over towards Bassetto now. Drifting in field, he has a sight of goal! And there was a fair few people in the stands here who thought that was number 4. It was not far away from Max Bassetto. Drifted in field, had a look, and then put his laces through it, and that wasn't far away from being another wonderful goal for Heidelberg. That might have been the best of the lot had it gone in. It's a fair contest though, particularly the last 2 goals. Kerr. All the way across the village. Ahmed now, lovely first touch. Second one not so good. Idara mopping up in midfield, out towards Bassetto again. The game becoming very stretched, and that's a lusty challenge there by Kamara. It was a fair one though. The referee lets it go. Kamara goes back to give Yokokara a pat on the head, the player he sent flying. Closing in on the hour mark here at the village. Heidelberg 3 goals to the good. And as things stand, they will pull to within 2 points of Avondale on the ladder, though they'll probably still be in 3rd place depending on goal difference because of Oakley's win earlier today. And then Dandenong Thunder, who were also equal on points with them at the start of this game. They don't play till Monday. One thing's for certain though, it has changed the complexion of the title race this year. Looked like Avondale's to lose for much of the first 11 weeks. It doesn't anymore. Here's Ali. Collins, instrumental in the first goal, winning the header at the corner. Lets himself down there though by sending the ball straight out of play. And we're going to see some more changes here for Avondale as we tick up towards the hour mark. Christian Trajewski comes off and Joseph Katabian comes on. Stefan Zinni has entered the fray. I think I'll just confirm that. Looked like we could see a number 7 there. Here's Idara. Sorry, it's Nagore rather, who's been excellent. Driving down the flank. Idara back towards Nagore, just gets in a tangle, and Avondale win it back. Towns. And that's a bit of a sloppy ball over the top. Nobody was a chance of getting on the end of that for Avondale. And here's Souza. Oh, he might have messed up. He clatters into Cuba. And the referee's going to let it go, I think. Or is he? Cuba is down. Souza with a heavy touch. Realised he was in trouble. Crashed into Kian Cuba, who is still down over the byline. And it looks as though he's got away with it. It is going to be an Avondale corner, though. Or is it? No, it's going to be a goal kick. Well, Yaron Souza can thank his lucky stars there. Got to admit, at first look, that seemed like a certain spot kick. But to be fair, Avondale are not protesting too much. And the referee was much closer than me, so looks as though the right call has been made. Not a great goal kick this time, though, by Souza either, and it's Cuba again. They're queuing up here, Avondale. It's Towns. Good block on his shot by Lesiotis. Those subs have given them a new lease of life, Avondale. Some energy about them suddenly. Here's Kerr. He bends it into the back post. Ball pinballing around. Now it's Joey Katabian. Good block on him. But there's some life about Avondale yet. Just under half an hour to go. Towns. Still haven't worked out who the player brought on, the second substitute brought on by Avondale was. It looked like number 7 up on the board, but number 7 is Stefan Zinni, and he wasn't on the sheet. Anyway, Bacetto's driving through here. Courtney Perkins got there just in time to scoop it away. And it's out for a Heidelberg throw. Avondale had probably their best spell of the match the preceding few minutes, but were almost caught unawares there by a driving run from Bacetto. And in fact, it's going to be a corner. It's Yokokawa who will take it. 64 minutes played. Avondale have looked very suspect at corners all evening. And if Heidelberg aren't home and host already, they certainly will be if they knock a goal in here. They're going to make a change, though. Their first change. And it looks like it'll be the man who scored the first goal, Bold Juach, who scored his 8th for the season, and he makes way. And it's big Peter Klaassen who comes on. Came on as a second half substitute against Green Goals, scored twice. And he's after a header here, he gets onto it. In fact, I don't think it was Klaassen, it was a Heidelberg player though. Avondale get away with it, but only momentarily. Heidelberg will look to reload again. Up goes Edwards, looking for the header. He almost ended on his head. Rather than hitting the ball, he almost headed the ground there, Daniel Edwards. He gets up though. And here come Heidelberg. And it's Klaassen who's just come on. Here's Yokokawa. Can he score this time? Oh, he still can't. It's just not his night. Thankfully, it has been the night for plenty of his teammates. He scored 5 this season, Asahi Yokokawa, and he could easily have had another 3 tonight. Fortunately, they've already got 3 on the board, Heidelberg. And Yokokawa is going to send in another corner from the far side as they go in search of a 4th to make it all but official. It's a good ball in, it hits the deck. Collins is there to retrieve it. 2 central defenders, Collins and Kamara tangle, and it's the latter who wins out and then sends a long ball forward. Agawick racing back with Lesiotis. Lesiotis got there in time, sends it all the way back to Souza, and the home fans enjoyed that. And it comes out towards Zinni, who is on the field. I thought he wasn't on the team sheet that I looked at earlier, but he is, and he's on the field, he's on the ball. And he goes down and he collects the referee in the process, which the home fans, being in a jovial mood, enjoyed quite a bit. But it's no laughing matter for Zinni. It looks like he's hurt himself there, falling over. Only just come on the field and he's hurt himself by running into the referee. Looks like he's going to continue though, Stefan Zinni. I mentioned they were missing some players, but still been able to bring on guys like Kian Kuba and Stefan Zinni and Joey Katabian, Avondale. It's, even with injuries, they still have awesome strength and depth. So far, it hasn't helped them much here tonight. They are 3 goals down. They've got a free kick here, though. It's Katabian. And a good save at his near post by Souza. Souza then sends his clearance long and high. And it's his opposite number, Manos, who hugs it to his chest. Batavian out towards Kerr. Love the control by Kerr. Not a great ball forward, though. Lesiotis picks up the crumbs in midfield. Nagor. Kerr again over to Agawek, and now driving through midfield as Towns, but again he's overhit his pass. He's done it a couple of times this evening, Utre Towns. One of a number of Avondale players who have delivered well short of their reputation this evening. As we approach 70 minutes, getting to the stage where it's past the point of no return. This might just have to be one of those games they just put in the bottom drawer and forget about. Here's Bassetto barging forward again, beating a tackle. Bassetto into the area, mazy run, now he's brought down. No penalty. And now surfing in is Yokokawa. And he's collected Agawek, and he's going to go in the book for his trouble. Not sure he intended that, Yokokawa. I think maybe the wet turf helped matters by helping him slide in and collect Agawek, but he's gone in the book. Edwards down the channel. Cuba herring after it. Souza beats him to it. He's given them something, Cuba, since coming on. As Lesiotis is sent flying, and now it could really kick off in midfield. The referee has brandished a yellow card, and now this is getting very ugly. Well, you don't want to see this. A yellow card's been brandished. We could see a different colour here very soon. Looked like there was something approaching a rugby tackle there for a moment. It was Lesiotis who was sent flying initially, and then tempers boiled right over. And now the referee confers with his linesman. And we're not going to see any more action. Again, that was one of those incidents where at first blanch it looked like a red card for sure. But maybe the referee decided there were so many involved that it wasn't really feasible to pick out one offender above all others. It wasn't an edifying spectacle for either side, though, it must be said. It's been a very attractive game between two very good teams, obviously. You don't want to see it descend into an all-out brawl, which it is very close to being there. And after all that, there's going to be another change here for Heidelberg. So Bassetto, who's been excellent, he comes off. He certainly earned his money tonight, Max Bassetto, unlucky not to be on the score sheet himself. Jay McGowan is the replacement. Midfielder from New South Wales, formerly of the Sutherland Sharks. Been a regular second half substitute this season for John Anastasiadis. And he's on to try and help Heidelberg see this game out. Shouldn't really be a problem for them. Got that 3-goal cushion. And if Yokokawa's got anything to say about it, they might have more. He helps it over towards Nagore as the rain intensifies once again. Nagore. Jamal Ali had crept forward as is his wont, but couldn't retrieve that ball. And it's out for another goal kick. Kerr just tried to flick that one on to Agawek. Right idea, but just not quite the right execution. Fulton to Klassen to McGowan. The two substitutes combined for the Burgers. Have they got a fourth in them? Idara. Nagore. He's done his chances of a regular starting position, no harm. Has been an impact sub, but he's been terrific tonight from the start. Scored a goal, and he's trying to set one up here. Still Nagore. Lays it across for Lesiotis. And that was always just going a touch too high and wide. Again, it's his favourite range. Just outside the D, Anthony Lesiotis. Had a go earlier in the half. Scored from a similar distance 3 weeks ago against Green Gully. But he couldn't make it a hat-trick of games with a goal. At least not there. Still time for him, though. About 15 minutes of normal time. He's won the ball back in midfield, Lesiotis. He won't have a shot. Found Nagore. Now Lesiotis again. Klassen's involved. Now Yokokawa. And the ball ricochets just wide. It's just not happening for Yokokawa. It was an impossible angle for him in the end anyway. And it's gone out for another corner, which he will take. It's just over 15 minutes of normal time. Try and get some scores from the other games if we can. This is the score that will echo throughout NPL Victoria. Not a great cross in. And Kerr can maybe send Avondale on the break. He's got Nagore within the two number 11s. Both have been excellent for their respective teams. Dandenong City 3-1 over Port Melbourne Sharks. Preston leading Dynamo St Albans 2-1. Green Gully still a goal to the good over South Melbourne. Hume City and Melbourne Knights 0-0. And Oakley 2-1 winners over Altona Magic earlier today. That's Anzac Day NPL football. And it's not over yet. Cade Lucas with you on YouTube. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage of this blockbuster between first and third, which the lower ranked team are going to win and win handsomely. Unless Avondale can pull it out of the fire, but it might be Heidelberg who score another one. It's Nagore taking on Kamara, and Kamara just does well enough to win the ball and avoid a free kick. And now it's Avondale who come away. Have they got a goal in them? They don't lose very many, but they don't stay goalless either. It's even rarer for the Avengers. There's no goal there for them, though. McGowan tries to skip past Towns and can't do so. Cuba down the left-hand side, driving at the defence. Sorry, it's Zinni rather. They're a long way away down there. It's Stefan Zinni, who's won a corner for his team, and it's another one of the Avondale substitutes, Joey Katabian, who'll take it. Can they make the scoreline look a little bit more respectable here, Avondale? Katabian floats it in, left lean up high. Kerr. Courtney Perkins. Cross comes in, nobody home for Avondale. Comes back out to Ahmed though. Now Zinni. A touch too far out for him. Courtney Perkins. They want a goal here, Avondale. It's Kerr. Oh, there's just a wall of yellow shirts in front of him. Heidelberg want a clean sheet just as badly as Avondale want a goal. That would really be a feather in their cap. Heidelberg, if not only if they can beat Avondale, but beat them by 3-0, hold them goalless. It would really be a big psychological blow for John Anastasiadis' team. Lesiotis, Yokokawa. And Fulton has just overcooked that pass. It's been quite the transformation. Fletcher Fulton from a goal scorer with Moreland City converted into a wing back, and a very good one here for Heidelberg. He's been good again tonight. He's got defending to do here as Avondale come again once more. McGowan got himself in the way and he won a free kick. Well, the big tests keep on coming for Heidelberg. They've taken on, and by the looks of things, beaten the league leaders. And next week they'll take on the other team ahead of them in the table, Oakley. And that game is at Oakley, at Jack Edwards Reserve. So if this one was game of the season, next week's game can't be too far behind it. Whilst Avondale, they've got a big game too. Well, normally this would be a blockbuster too, but not the way South Melbourne are going. They're losing again tonight against Green Gully. And they go to Avenger Park next Saturday afternoon to take on Avondale, an Avondale team who will be hell-bent on getting back on the winners list. That could be a very difficult afternoon at the office for South Melbourne. Meanwhile, there's a bit of an injury timeout here as a Heidelberg player gets some physio work done. It's Lesiotis, in fact. Looks like he's going to continue. Only 10 minutes of normal time to play now. We've just crossed 80 minutes. Rain has eased a little bit, but it's still coming down. It has rained for virtually the whole match, except, of course, for half-time. Hardly a drop came down at half-time, but as soon as the football has been played, down it has come. I wonder how much of an effect it's had on proceedings. Courtney Perkins, or dinks it forward to Cuba, who's in behind here. Danger for Heidelberg. It's Cuba, and it's well wide. And that just about sums up the night for Heidelberg. Well, not for Heidelberg, it sums up the night for Avondale, rather. It's been a dirty old night at the office for Zoran Markovsky's men. They won't remember this Anzac Day fondly. Edwards. It's just a hopeful punt forward. Zinni. Edwards, and he just knocks that straight out of play. He's done okay tonight, Edwards, in an unfamiliar position. Saw a lot of the ball in the first half. Not so much in the second. It's a hint of going through the motions now for both teams. As we tick towards the 90. Both will have an eye on next week. Particularly Avondale. This will give Zora Markowski and the Avengers Brains Trust a lot of thinking to do this result. Yes, they've had some injuries, but they have the biggest and best squad in the competition. Doesn't explain the frailties they've shown this evening. Here's Courtney Perkins. Batavian. Towns. All the yellow shirts back behind the ball here. They want to keep that clean sheet, and McGowan slides in to help them do that. It is a throw, though, to Avondale. Courtney Perkins. Katavian. Edwards. They're pressing up high again, Avondale. They got one final flurry in them. 6 minutes of normal time to go, and then stoppage time beyond that. I wouldn't have thought there'd be a huge amount. After the fireworks of the first half, a much more sedate affair in the second. Heidelberg did the job in the first 45 as Agawek almost gets a goal back. For a second there, it looked like that ball was going to float into the open net, but it just went wide, and Agawek picks himself up gingerly. He's another Avondale player who just hasn't quite happened for him tonight. He certainly hasn't been short of effort. He's run his socks off. It's just been one of those nights for the Avengers. They don't have many of them. They certainly have here at the Village. 5 minutes of normal time to go. McGowan and Kerr. McGowan won the foot race and Kerr brought him down. And the natives here at Heidelberg want a yellow card. They might just have to settle with a free kick. Lesiotis. McGowan. Adara on towards McGowan. Now Claassen. Peter Claassen. Straight into the path of Manos. That's about as close as they've come in the second half. Heidelberg, about as close as either side have come in the second half. He hit it well enough, the big Queenslander, but it was straight down the throat of Thomas Manos. Here's Cuba. He's been pretty good since coming on. Maybe he could fight for a starting place next week against his former club, South Melbourne. Katavian. Over the top. Cuba. Flag stays down. And it's out of play anyway. And now the flag goes up. More changes for the Burgers. John Anastasiadis has still got a few up his sleeve. And it's Asai Yokokawa who makes way. And it's a great sign for Heidelberg that they've had a great win against a top opponent in Yokokawa. Has not got it on the score sheet. He's certainly gone close. But it's been a frustrating night for him, but thankfully for the Burgers, not for them as a team. Dow Chock comes on for the last few minutes here. And here he is. And that ricochets into the path of Manos. He wraps his hands around it. He's looked a bit more secure after half-time, Thomas Manos. He looked a bit shaky in the first half, and maybe some of that ricocheted through his defenders as well. Just over 90 seconds of the 90 to come. We'll wait to see how much stoppage time there is to go. A few people making their way back towards the club rooms. Heidelberg looking to send them off with a fourth goal. Here's Chock. Edwards did well. And then sends his pass straight out of play. He did well to win the ball, but didn't do very well to keep it. Here's Idara. Ahmed. Towns. And here they come down the flank, Avondale. Stefan Zinni takes on Ali. And that ball ricochets out for an Avondale corner. Good work by Zinni. They want to get a goal. And they're running out of time to hit the score sheet here. We've got mere seconds of the 90 minutes remaining. Looks like it's 4 minutes of stoppage time. Corner comes in from Cuba. Lethlean heads it away. Towns back in, but then Collins sends it straight up and down the chimney. Towns is down after winning that header. And the physio's being called on. The other players sitting down and stretching as well. It's a bit of physically taxing sort of game. Played almost entirely in driving rain, and it's been very physical at times. Pretty warm weather, unseasonably warm weather in Melbourne recently, but certainly dropped a bit tonight, which the players would have noticed. It's the Heidelberg players who will be feeling much better about themselves at the end of this one. They'll have a great old weekend after this famous win, and it really will be a famous win for this famous old club. They've had some great ones here at the Village over the years, but this will rank up there with the best of them. Just over half the season to go. Is it a portent of more success to come for Johnny Anastasiadis' team? After this, they might be premiership favourites. In fact, it's hard to argue they're not. They won't be top of the table, but after how convincing this performance has been, it's hard to argue that anyone else should be considered premiership favourites ahead of them. As Avondale come forward for a late goal here, and they've got one. And it's Manny Agawek who I think turned that in. Heidelberg won't get the clean sheet. Manny Agawek gets the goal, and that is a consolation if ever there was one. It's Heidelberg 3, Avondale 1. Manny Agawek with his 6th goal of the season. And that gives the Avengers something to go on with into next week. Can't question their effort in this second half. They've tried hard, but the damage was done in the first 45. A Heidelberg United performance that will live long in the memory. Courtney Perkins. Towns. Kerr. He's been excellent tonight for Avondale. Edwards. As the rain intensifies again. As we approach the final whistle, the referee looks at his watch. Avondale going in search of a second here. Courtney Perkins. Towns. In comes the cross. It's a good one. And Souza had to hang on. That could have been trouble had he spilled it there, Yaron Souza. But he hung on. And Heidelberg have done more than hang on. They have won, and won handsomely over Avondale. A win that they won't forget here at the Village for many, many years, if ever. A first half where they scored 3 goals and blew the league leaders out of the water. It was Bual Jawach after 8 minutes who started it off. Ali Jamal with an emphatic second after 36 really got them going. And then Sebit Nagor took the roof off the Village with a third right on the stroke of half-time. And the Burgers were in 7th heaven. And for most of the second half, that's how it stayed. Avondale tried hard. They had plenty of the ball. They had some half chances, but never really broke through. Asahi Yokokawa and Peter Klaassen went close to add a 4th for Heidelberg, but it was right at the death that Manny Agawek tapped in from close range to give Avondale a goal and to blemish the score sheet for Heidelberg. But it's the Burgers who finished very much on top here tonight, and they signal that they, with just over half the season to go, are now the team to beat in NPL 2025. Kate Lucas is my name. It's been a privilege to bring it to you tonight here from a very wet but very happy Olympic Village. It's finished Heidelberg United 3, Avondale 1.